We're talking about the trust we place in the people who care for our children. We expect that our teachers are watching our kids when we drop them off at school each day, right? All right, if you're standing up right now, sit down, because the next one, unbelievable. Second graders engaging in oral sex. Where's this all taking place? Inside the classroom. A California elementary school sent parents a letter after they learned of 2 questionable incidents inside the same classroom. Here's what the school spokesperson had to say.
As we understand, we believe that oral sex occurred.
Did occur.
Correct. It's not unheard of for children to engage in sexually explorative behavior at a young age, but what's particularly concerning about this incident is the fact that it occurred in a classroom, which is supposed to be a safe haven. It is an unacceptable situation.
Now, there's no word on where the teacher was during all this. The school says the teacher is now on leave until their investigation is complete. But if they know that oral sex and are convinced oral sex took place in the classroom, my investigation is over. The teacher's gone. Back with my guests. All right. Sheela, I understand, and I don't want this conversation to be about the second graders. I want it to be about the teacher. Is there any way that, I mean, is there any way a teacher could be inside a room with a bunch of second graders and be so distracted and not know that oral sex is taking place?
I don't know what is the setup of that classroom, how many other kids are in the classroom, what other behavioral issues there are going on, but this is a serious, serious problem. I mean, this is unacceptable. I'm a psychologist and the mom of a second grader, so no way. It's not acceptable.
Stephanie, it's unacceptable. Is there any explanation here? Is there any way that this could be anything other than 100% completely wrong and this teacher is horrible?
It's horrible, and I don't understand, why is there no aid in the classroom? Why is nobody watching these kids? This is what I don't understand. Yeah. It's unacceptable, then why is it happening? You know what I mean? Why isn't there something in place to prevent that from happening? I mean, it's horrifying as a parent to think that that could be going on in my innocent child's classroom.
Let's go to the phone line so I see what the folks at home have to say. Aaron is in Kentucky tonight. Aaron, it's story after story after story about broken trust tonight. Your thoughts?
Yes, I just want to first state that this is absolutely disgusting. Why did the teacher feel like they felt the need to leave the classroom at all? And not only that, I want to know why these kids know what oral sex is at this young of an age. Like, this is absolutely disgusting, and I cannot believe that this is happening.
Aaron, thanks so much for the call. Sheila, this is something you might be able to answer. All right, let's get to that part of the story now. Second graders actually engaging in oral sex. Where did they get that from?
Absolutely. That's the first thing I thought is, you know what, it's normal for them to have some curiosity about sex and sexuality. This is way beyond the bounds of that. I have serious concerns about these kids, their home life, their school life, all of it. I'm very concerned about them. Mark
Eiglarsh, a lot of angles to this story, a lot of trust being broken. To me, it's first the teacher not paying enough attention, but I think someone in these second graders' life may have broken their trust as well for them to even understand and be doing and engaging in oral sex. Second grade, Mark.
Absolutely. That's my first thought is they either saw it on television, which means a parent allowed them to see that activity, or a parent showed them that behavior, in which case they need to fully investigate. And regarding the teacher, when I was in school, I couldn't pass a note or chew gum without getting busted. I can't imagine how these kids were able to carry on this way.
Dom, is there a lesson here anywhere?
Well, the only thing I can tell you, Vinny, is I've seen pretty stuff. I've taught in places like Camden and other pretty rough places, but I've never think that it's possible to not notice second graders having oral sex. Just not possible.
Unbelievable stuff. Hey, Greg on Facebook saying, I was playing marbles at that age. Thank God I grew up naive. Jamie says the kids learned this from somewhere. They need to investigate those parents. That might be part of it. All right, up next on Prime News.
You just said, why don't you just go kill yourself?
A teacher tells a sixth grader to go shoot himself, but the superintendent says she's an excellent teacher.
In a weak moment, she did something inappropriate.
Jump in on this conversation. Call 1-877-TELL-HLN.
You just said, why don't you just go kill yourself?
I feel she needs to be punished somehow.
That That Michigan sixth grader and his parents want a teacher suspended without pay for those harsh words. Now, I understand, teaching, difficult job, right? Kids can test your patience. But is there any excuse for an adult to lose their cool and tell a child, a 12-year-old child, go shoot yourself? The school superintendent says it was just a moment of frustration. It's the first offense for a 32-year veteran with a clean record. And even the student's family agrees it's out of character for this teacher.
In a weak moment, she did something inappropriate.
She's usually fine.
I know she's a good teacher. I had her myself.
Now, the school took action with a verbal reprimand, a letter in her file. I heard talk of maybe 20 slaps with a wet noodle. But let me tell you, Mark Eiglarsh, if this was a student talking about shooting somebody, that student would have been suspended, possibly expelled, zero tolerance. Why not for the teacher also, Mark?
Well, let's just say this. It's inappropriate. She shouldn't have said it. But that being said, Vinny, kids are difficult. And she's been around them for 32 years. She's had an otherwise exemplary history there. And I'm not saying that the penalty is soft. I'm not saying it's harsh. I think it's just right. And they evaluated the situation. They made the determination. She didn't show him how to kill himself. She didn't put him in the closet like some was alleging that she said something about. I think it's the right penalty.
All right, Stephanie, what do you think? Because let me tell you, if it's a student who's talking about shooting, zero tolerance. We did a story this week. A kindergartner goes like this with his finger, gets sent home from school and suspended. Here we're getting a strongly worded letter in your file?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, I think, first of all, just to say that kids are difficult, you know, I have 3-year-old twins and a 6-year-old. That's difficult. I would never, ever say something like that to one of my children. And I think, first of all, and why are their records so clean? After all those years, this is somebody who's capable of telling a kid to go shoot themselves. I have a feeling they've done other things through the years, and it just wasn't bad enough to make their file.
Here's what the folks are saying on Facebook tonight. Megan says, I had a teacher yell at my son. I pulled him from the school, put him in a new one. Belinda says, a bit harsh, but some of these teens and preteens make you want to punch them in the face. All right, note to self, Belinda, I'm not going to hire her as my babysitter. Star, even though kids are getting worse, teachers have to keep it together. And isn't that it, Sheila? Don't these teachers, I mean, and God bless these teachers. I mean, my goodness, they spend all this time with all these kids. But that's part of the job. You've got to exercise a little patience. You can't tell them to shoot themselves, Sheila.
Yeah, you can't. You know, I think anyone who's watched reality TV...
I smell a butt. No. Are you going to say something?
You know, knows that people sometimes say things they regret. If it was my kid, I would want my kid put in a different class. I would want to know that that teacher is getting some treatment about how to manage difficult emotions and stress, because she clearly needs some help on that. And I would want the school board to follow up with me. Like, what are you doing, and was there more incidents, and, you know, what's the follow-up to at the end of the year?
All right, we have a couple seconds here.
What about the other kids?
Go ahead, who's that, Stephanie?
She needs counseling. She needs some help, for sure.
Yeah, but Vinny, everyone keeps saying I would take my kid out of the class.
Right.
All right, great job, Stephanie, Dom, Sheila, Mark. Appreciate it. More Prime News straight ahead, folks.